Welcome to I Wish I Knew podcast. I'm your host, Aspen Brooke Bailey. Today, I'm going to talk about something that I wish I knew before I was married, before I made super long-lasting relationships with friends and family, and I feel like it would have saved me so many hardships, okay? So, what I'm going to talk about today is my baby just woke up. Let me go grab her 1 second. She's just chilling in her bed. All right. Today, I'm going to talk about what I wish I knew in terms of keeping my mouth shut when is appropriate and opening my mouth when it's important. I'm definitely a very big feeling person. My emotions are all over the place a lot of the time, but I feel like it's a gift that I can feel so deeply. Like when I'm happy, I'm ecstatic, and when I'm sad, I'm like depressed. But I've learned through therapy and over the years and definitely being married that you can control your emotions and your emotions can benefit you. But here's something that I didn't know, and this might be common sense to a lot of people, but just because you feel a certain way or want to say something doesn't necessarily give you the right to say it. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of things that we feel or think, and saying them isn't necessarily a benefit. Whereas before I thought, since I feel this way, I'm entitled to say it. For example, me and my husband would be on a car ride, and he would be going a different route home than I would have done if I was driving. And before, I would always say, "Why didn't you turn here?" After we had already turned the other way. I'm like, "Why didn't you go right? Why'd you go left?" And it's a joke now because my mom definitely does that to my dad, and I definitely do it to Drake, and it's a genetic thing. But I've learned that that's not really necessary. Like, we're still going to get home. We're still going to make it there around the same time. So it's like, why am I caring so much about him doing something different than me? And it's like, I would think, oh, well, I wouldn't do it that way. So I need to question you on why you did it your way. Which I'm not saying you should just keep your mouth shut and don't ever speak up for yourself or say your opinions, because that's definitely not what I believe. But I'm just saying, if you think that it's going to benefit, then say it. But if you don't think it's going to be beneficial or is going to cause unnecessary contention, then don't say it, okay? Here's another example. My husband and I, where were we? I don't even remember. But we were somewhere, and I was concerned. Okay, wait, no, let me think about this story. Okay. Oh, what was I going to say? Here is another example, okay? Me and my husband are cooking dinner, and I don't really love to cook. My husband likes it more than me, but he's way more busy. So we were cutting up onions. We were cutting up onions, and we're going to grill onions and mushrooms to put on top of our steak. And my parents were coming down to stay with us for the weekend, so we were making dinner for all of us. And I was like, chopping them up into cubes, like tiny dicing. And Drake was like, "Why are you doing that? That's every time I've had onions on steak or whatever. You just leave them long, and then they kind of are like fajitas, like when you put onions in fajitas." Like, anyways, so doesn't matter. What matters is I had already cut them in dices, and then he was asking me why I did that. And I remember getting so mad at him. I'm like, "Babe, why do you care?" And he's like, "Well, I'm just saying, like, you said that I should do it, and then he was busy, so I just started doing it. And so he's like, you told me to do it. I was going to do it a certain way that I prefer, and then you did it instead the way that I don't prefer. And long story short, at the end of this, we were like, Kate, we're literally disagreeing about onions. Onions of all things. And it's like, that's when we stopped and we're like, okay, did this benefit our relationship? No, it just added contention for no necessary reason. And literally, we ate, it was fine. It all tasted the same. So that is a prime example, just like me correcting him in driving and him correcting me on how I chopped onions. If it's not going to benefit the situation, if it's not going to harm somebody, then maybe don't say it. If it's going to help your relationship, by all means, talk about it. Don't hold things in, because I think that does quite the opposite. But if it's going to hinder it or add contention that is not necessary, then maybe don't say it. Keep your mouth shut, and you'll save yourself a lot of problems. Now, here is what I want to add. I'm not saying don't ever say things that are on your mind, because, for example, the other night, I was talking with my husband. This is very applicable to marriage, but if you're not married, it's applicable in all relationships. But I was talking with him, and I had taken a nap. I love taking naps. So I took a nap for like 4 hours. I was freaking exhausted after our Disneyland trip. And he had commented and was like, you were going to sleep the whole day away. And I really didn't have anything to do. I didn't have work or anything like that. And it upset me so much that he was like saying something about me taking a nap. And I was like, this could be minuscule, like onions or car driving. But as I was thinking about it and reflecting on like why it triggered me so bad, I realized that I have a lot of pressure on myself, especially when I was growing up, to be perfect and have 9 to 5 scheduled out perfectly, or even like morning till night, every hour of the day scheduled perfectly. And I remember when we were dating, he was definitely so busy because he was in school, he had a job, we were dating, so we'd spend as much time together as we could. And there's my daughter. If you can hear her, she's just talking to herself in her crib. But anyways, and I was just working, but my job, I'd only work like a few hours a day. And then the rest of the time I was in a new city. I didn't really have friends. I didn't really know what to do with myself. And so I wasn't as productive. And that made me very self-conscious. And I felt like he was judging me if I wasn't productive because he valued productivity. And so I realized that I was triggered by him asking or saying the funny comment like, wow, you're going to sleep the whole day away, because I was afraid and I was pulling in all these insecurities of like, he probably thinks that I'm not productive and then he doesn't think I'm good enough. And I had all these meanings I was putting on what he was saying. And for me, I was like, this is something that's important to me and a lot bigger than just taking a nap. And so I'm going to talk to him about it. And we had this great conversation. I saw his side. He shared things with me that I didn't understand and definitely didn't take into consideration. I shared with him how triggering it was, the emotions and the meaning that I was placing on it, and the fear of him judging me or not thinking I was good enough. And he was able to clarify that that's never what he was intending and things like that. But now he knows how that is a sensitive subject for me and the meaning behind it and the backstory. So now he realizes that saying things like that or joking when I take a nap, or if I spend the whole day taking care of Rainy and not worrying about cleaning the house, he's not going to comment because he knows I'm trying my best and he knows how I feel. But on the flip side, since we had that conversation, I was able to see that he has so much to do with school, and he's on the ambassadors and he volunteers and he does this early acceptance program to get into medical school. And so he's the type of person that likes a checklist to be done, and he won't relax until it's done. And so now that I understand that, I'm more motivated to not be lazy, because I'm like, well, if I don't have to do it, if I'm not going to die or be punished for not doing it, I'm not going to do it. And I'll just do it later. That was my mindset. But after hearing his perspective, that motivated me to want to be better, to want to clean, to want to take care of him, because I understood his side. So we could have looked at this and been like, I took a nap, Drake. Such a simple thing. Don't comment. Didn't add to it. But the fact that he did comment, and then it helped me reflect, we had this super connecting moment where we were able to share both of our sides, listening to each other, no judgment, no defensiveness, just you tell me your side, I'll tell you my side, and we'll try to understand each other. And then we had such a greater appreciation for one another. I gotta go get my baby. Okay, I had to go get her because she was like ready to party, huh? Basically, that's my word vomit and rambling about the situation. If you think it's gonna help, talk about it, but really reflect and be like, is this actually going to help? Is this actually going to be worth bringing up? And if it's not, then don't talk about it, okay? All right. I love you. I love you, Rainy. Anything you want to say? Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave a review. And if there's anything you want advice on or to talk about, DM me on Instagram, message me, leave a comment below, write in a review, and I'd love to talk about it. I am so grateful for you watching, and I love you so much. Bye!